careful about don't use the Lord's name in vain. And when I say that, I mean I am. Because what did the Lord say to Moses? He said, I am that I am. Right? And even in the Bible, it says that God's name is I am. So anytime you say I am something negative, you're using the Lord's name in vain. So
I've never heard that one before.
You experience anxiety. You are not an anxious person. You said, I am an anxious person. Careful with that, bro. Don't identify with that, man. You're building a new identity, right? So every time, that's a negative affirmation. You're affirming to your subconscious mind, I'm an anxious person, right? So you say, hey, I experience anxiety, but I'm not identifying with it as if that's my anxiety or something. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I wanted to throw that out there.
Appreciate that, man.
You know,
okay.
That's powerful.
I've never heard that before in my life. I've never heard nobody say that before.
I am is such a powerful. Anything you say after I am is you're affirming that to the mind, and you're like.
What's good, family? Welcome back to another episode with Couchin with DGF. I'm Daryl.
I'm Uncle Bamo.
And today we got a special guest. Hey, man, my man Rich. My guy, met about, 7 years ago?
No.
It's 8 years. 2017, 2018.
No, it was like 2020.
Really?
Because I met Mayo on a virtual. The only reason I was doing virtual networking because it was 2020. It was the pandemic. Okay. And then I went to Mentoring Mentors in 2020.
So it's been 5 yees.
5 years.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah, this is my guy. And then we just connected outside of Mentoring Mentors, and it been a brotherhood ever since. So, but no, I let him tell y'all a little bit about who he is, and go from there.
All right, so, yeah. So. I guess I could start from the very beginning.
Yeah, who are you?
So we'll start with this because one of my boys, who became a client of mine, shout out my man Zayd, he said to me, he was like, everything I did after high school, it felt like one big trauma response. And I was like, that resonates. Because that's exactly what got me into the financial services space, was growing up with a single mom who was very transparent about her money stress.
Yes.
Was always stressed about money. Grew up in places like Canarsie, Brooklyn, falling asleep to the sound of gunshots, just like the hood. Right? Yeah. Kids asked me what gang I was with in second grade. And I'm like, I'm in second grade. We in second grade. like, what gang I'm in? Like, what? Getting in fights in school, watching fights every day. It was not, it wasn't fun.
Right.
It wasn't a place where, I'm just so grateful that my mother was someone who was like, I'm not going to raise my kid here. She did the damn thing, got us into Bel Air, Maryland, where the population was 90% white.
Yeah.
The question was not, are you going to college? The question was, what college are you going
to? Yeah.
Because they just assumed that you were moving on to higher education because they was so affluent and abundant in that area. So, living, having that juxtaposition, having both those experiences and seeing, okay, when I'm surrounded by a lot of people that look like me, it's poverty, scarcity, and lack. Mm-hmm. But then when I'm surrounded with a bunch of white people, it's abundance and affluence and, great school systems, and it's beautiful out here. Yeah. So I was very excited to get into financial services, to be a driving force for closing the racial wealth gap. That's what really started my journey, and why I just followed that passion and excitement. But then you sit down. I sat down with hundreds of people over the 5 years that I worked in the industry. And one, I needed my own personal development to build my first business. I needed a lot of inner work to even be able to, deal with 100 people saying no to me on the phone, and just having to actually grind it out. So I know I needed a lot of personal development, but then I would share all this financial information with people, but they didn't have the mindset to take action with it.
Yeah.
So I would hear the same story of lack and limitation and scarcity, I can't do it, I got to deal with this. I would hear that same story over and over again. So I got to a place where I was like, man, I just realized I could give people all the game on how wealthy people manage their money, but if they don't have that mindset necessary to take action with it and to implement it in their life, then I'm not helping very much.
Gotcha.
So I just went on my own journey of personal development. I read The Miracle Morning by Hal Elrod, and I started doing all those practices in the morning, like meditation, affirmation, visualizations, reading, journaling, exercising. I was always in the gym ever since high school, but I just got really serious about my own personal growth. Mm-hmm. And then one of my guys, I actually connected you with the guy, Brandon. Yeah. He was like, yo, I got this thing called The Collective, and we just get together and we, just share and grow together. And I know you're the finance guy, but you can come in, speak on whatever you're passionate about. Mm-hmm. Right. I chose to speak on The Miracle Morning, and I shared all the framework. And when I tell you I got in such a flow state that as I'm saying shit, I'm like, oh, that's profound. Yeah. Oh, that's wise. Yeah. Like I'm saying stuff and I'm surprising myself with what's coming through me, right? And that was the first time I felt that flow state. And after that, I was like, yo, this is what I'm passionate about. This is what I'm really meant to do. That coupled with some paradigm shifting mystical experiences on plant medicine like LSD and psilocybin mushrooms, where I just had visions of me speaking to a massive crowd. I had experiences of me like channeling what I felt to be divine information, where it's just like, I know it's a download when it's like, it's this immediate knowing that I know in a millisecond, but it might take me 30 minutes to actually express it or flesh it out or something, right? Yeah. So that's where I just started developing my spiritual connection, even outside of religion, because I grew up Christian, but I never felt like a deep connection with the actual religion or the practices. It was just like, I had those experiences of like direct connection with God. Like, okay, God is real, infinite intelligence.
I'm the same way, for sure.
So that's what got me on the journey, man. And I just started my coaching business back in 2021. And since then, it's just been a journey of like working with as many people as possible. And it's been beautiful to be able to see, okay, so it's not just me, like all these people are getting these massive results in their life. And it's like, I'm at a place now where I'm facing off against like beliefs like too good to be true. I'm like, hold on, you get to make a very good living by doing what you love every day, coaching people, speaking. First time I got paid to speak, and I was like, hold on, I'm gonna do this for free. I love this shit. You're gonna pay me for this? That bumped up against so many limiting beliefs and lack mindsets, and now I'm just letting myself sit in the fact that, yo, you're doing what you love and getting paid very well to do it. Yeah. Like, believe you deserve this and just keep going. Keep going. Letting yourself receive these blessings, because you're only gonna, inspire others when you allow yourself to receive. So yeah, that's my long-winded.
That's your long-winded of who you is.
Who I am. Yep.
First thing.
Yeah, I'm about to say I skipped ahead by asking you that, but
and you see, you don't. I don't need this to be.
Yeah, I know.
Open and loose, but I ain't gonna mess with the routine. You know what I'm saying? With the ritual.
Go ahead, Brody.
Thank you for coming. Really appreciate you. Shout out to Rich.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Thanks for coming on the couch.
That's good.
That's good.
Yeah.
You like that?
Padrino, okay. Godfather, okay.
I like that.
Yeah, I like that a lot. That was smooth.
Nice. We'll keep that in mind moving forward. That you like it.
I like that. That's good.
You like that too?
Good.
Yeah, I told you that last time we was drinking it.
Bro, I didn't even know you told me that. Yeah, I thought you was talking about the other one I had. The new one, the other one. It said very smooth.
I don't know. Maybe I just like tequila.
It said very smooth on the bottle.
Was it false advertising?
No, it was very smooth.
No.
Yeah, it was very smooth. And it mixed well with champagne. So that was a little different.
Got you.
But yeah, man. Thanks for that. But for the people, what would your title to the world be as what you do?
I guess financial coach.
Financial coach?
Yeah,
okay.
Financial coach. I also like to call it conscious wealth.
Conscious wealth?
Like conscious wealth coach or conscious wealth mentor.
Okay.
I mean, I don't like market myself as it, but someone used the term mind architect. I was like, ooh.
That's different.
Yes. Yeah. So I was like, because that's exactly what I do essentially. I get people talking, And then the words that they use are like a bridge between what their conscious mind and what they subconsciously believe. So it like allows me to pinpoint, there's a lack mindset there. There's a fear around receiving. There's a fear around being seen. There's a, like, I can, like, that I feel is what I've been gifted with. Is, of course, God has blessed me with the gift of gab and the ability to articulate myself, and I feel like that's something that I've been like put on this earth to do, is to like use my words, use my voice to impact lives. But I also have 2 ears and one mouth.
Right.
So that's why in my coaching sessions, it's mostly me listening and then mirroring back and like helping people become aware of some of the limiting beliefs they have, and then actually doing some inner work to shift them to empowering beliefs that are going to serve them.
Got you.
Know?
Yeah.
So, of course, I do a lot of the tangible stuff. I like to do both the tangible, like actual financial planning stuff. Like, okay, let's look at your 401k. Let's see how you're allocated. Let's make sure we're minimizing risk and maximizing returns.
Yeah.
Make sure you got your life insurance portfolio and your risk mitigation taken care of. But at the end of the day, most of what I do is inner work, because it's all like your mindset. When you shift your mindset around money, especially because we've been so conditioned to believe money is bad. We're conditioned with just these two things that on one side, money is the root of all evil, and if you're wealthy, you're greedy and bad. But on the other side, your net worth is your self-worth, and especially as a man, if you don't make a bunch of money, you should feel very bad about yourself.
Yeah.
So now with I help people like kind of shift these competing beliefs and allow them to just be in alignment with receiving and with building true wealth.
Yeah.
You know?
Okay. So what would
financial coach, I guess.
Yeah. So I was gonna say. So what would you say is your most challenging piece of being a financial coach in this industry, in this world? Because you mentioned how you got to change people's mindsets. So is that the hardest part, or do you think something else is more the hardest part of being that financial coach?
That's a good question. That's a very good question. I think similar to how the hardest part for others is always an internal piece, it's the same for me.
Okay.
Like the hardest part has been, how do I market myself in an authentic way that feels in alignment for me and doesn't feel like I'm manipulating someone or fear-mongering them into
what you got going on.
Right? Because, of course, most people don't really care about... They don't care about you and what you got going. They care about themselves and solving their problems and alleviating their stresses and things like that. So it's like, how can I help people become problem aware, but in an authentic way where I'm not like pushing on them and manipulating and making them afraid of certain, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There's the emotional piece where I gotta like get people to really, like a big part of what I do is helping people to get negative leverage on themselves. Meaning, if I keep believing this and I keep acting like this, how bad is it gonna be?
Yeah.
How's it fuck me up in the past? How's it gonna continue to mess me up in the future?
Yeah.
Like really, because most of us don't change unless we understand that the pain of staying the same is going to be greater than the pain of changing. So a lot of times I kind of have to poke that pain and make people aware of that, but I try to do that in a way that's not, again, fear-mongering or manipulative. So because marketing can be so manipulative, and it can be so
misbelieving.
Let me use psychology and to manipulate is the word that keeps coming up. It's like, how can I market but in an authentic way?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Because because I've been doing this for a while now, I'm like in a place of certainty. Like, you step into this space, and you let yourself feel safe to be vulnerable, you're gonna you're going to transform. You're gonna get value out of this. Like, there's that level of certainty. So now it's just like, how do I get people into this space? And essentially, I'm starting to say it's okay to market and give people what they want, so that I can bring them in and give them what they need. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So that's definitely a challenge.
That's probably your challenge. Yeah. Okay. And with that being said, you talked about people being vulnerable. Do you feel like that is a challenge for people, for other people? Because I know we talked about your challenge from what you have approaching people, but do you feel like that's others people challenge to coming to you or talking to life coaches, success coaches, any type of coach, just being vulnerable with themselves and being able to be accepting of what they got going on and what they're going through?
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. That's why I go, leaders go first, right?
Yeah.
So that's why I'm super vulnerable and open on social media. Like I post pictures, videos of me crying my eyes out because I want other, mentoring mentors. I want young men, especially young black and brown men, to see another grown man and say, "Oh, it's okay to express my emotions."
Yeah.
He's still a man. He's
Right.
not less than just because he's expressing himself.
Yeah.
So I try to set that example, and as people go through my program, when I have an online course, and in that I'm so open with people that there's almost this level of reciprocity where they want to be open too now.
Right.
They're they feel comfortable.
Yeah.
And they break down their walls because they're like, oh, this guy just told me about some deep
shit. Yeah, right. Yeah.
So that really helps people. But yeah, it's especially for men, bro. That's why there was a point where I actually did a program just specifically for men to help in relationships, and I just created this container for it was 4 guys that went through it, and it was beautiful to see them actually open up together and create that connection. But us men, man, we're so conditioned to believe that you are less than if you feel your feelings, and man up essentially means stop feeling.
That'd be tough.
Yeah, that's what it means, to stop feeling. But then when you actually, read books like The Body Keeps a Score, or, When the Body Says No, and you go into the work of the new science of epigenetics and bioenergetics, you start to realize oh shit, these repressed emotions are causing energetic blockages in my body. And the dis-ease that I experience in my mind is causing diseases in my body. So it's now imperative for me to do that inner work. I had somebody recently ask me, how do you define mental health? And I was like, I just drop the mental and call it health. Because mind and body are one super system. And I feel like a lot of times the pain you feel in your body is actually your soul trying to communicate to you through your body. Right? So that's why I'm so holistic.
Yeah.
And that's why someone might come in with yo, I need help with my money. And then they go out realizing that the first and most important thing they need to focus on is their health.
Yeah.
And they're talking about money. I'm like, bro, we need to make sure you're in the gym. We need to make sure you take care of yourself, because we can do all this stuff about money, and then what if you're not here? You know what I'm saying?
Then you don't got it. You know what I mean? Yeah.
That's what I try to tell this nigga, man. For me, going to the gym, 'cause that's what I can relate to right now. Going to the gym, when I'm in a bad mood, I go to the gym. It always cheer me up. It always make me feel a little bit better, and it just causes me to push myself. And pushing myself gets me excited. It gets me happy. It gets me going to do more stuff to just keep growing and keep pushing myself.
Yep. But yeah, it's
all one system, one unit.
Holistic, health, wealth, and relationships. And the mind, we want to compartmentalize things, but the mind doesn't work that way. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. We have to. It all works together. So I try to make sure that I'm bringing that. Actually, let me not say I try. I can't help but bring that energy, and make sure, when I'm talking to people, I'm like, okay, we're talking about money. How's your relationship with God? How's your relationship with yourself? Yeah. Do you love yourself? Do you love God? Do you have that connection?
Yeah.
Because that connection, it's we only allow into our life what we believe we deserve. And a lot of us have this just messed up self-worth. So we're going to sabotage every single opportunity that we have to create wealth. So it's we got to focus on that first if you want to be successful in your finances.
That is true. No, I like that.
Yeah, for sure.
So right now you life coach, success coach. Do you have your own business under it?
Yeah. Okay. Right now it's called Internally Rich Coaching.
Internally Rich Coaching.
And it's funny. I introduced myself to you as RJ, and then Cordell was like, "Oh, this is Rich." And that's a story that my family called me RJ growing up. Richard James is my full name. Richard James Rivera. They call me RJ. And then people at school, I would have them call me Richard, and then when I went to college, it was Rich.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until this breathwork session, I had a guided breathwork session, and in the breathwork session, I had this clear vision of my inner child, my dad's inner child, my stepfather's inner child. They're all looking at me, and they're like, "You have a father wound. You need to work on this."
Yeah.
Right? People telling you you're the man of the house when you were 7, 8 years old, that had an effect on you.
Right.
You know, stepfather putting his hands on your mother, that had an effect on you.
Yeah.
Daddy not being around, that
Had
you
effect.
might not think it had an effect on you, but it did. And in that moment, I realized, oh shit, Rich is my social mask. Rich is the guy who's got it all figured out. That's, oh yeah, I'm just gonna help you with your shit, you know. Whereas RJ is the little kid that really don't know nothing and is learning and is able to still be vulnerable and be himself and lift while he climbs.
Yeah.
You know, it's not helping people from this place of, you know, perceived superiority.
Yeah.
It's helping people from a place of like, yo, I'm no better than you. You're no better than me. I just might be farther along in this one capacity.
Yeah.
And if I can lift you while I'm climbing up,
Then we both
hell
win.
yeah.
Then
You
we
know
both
what I'm
win.
saying? Like my coach, Sean, he said, a 5th grader is a god to a 4th grader. And he was like, you over here thinking you need to be in college.
Yeah.
Right? But actually, the people in 4th grade are going to get more value out of hearing it from someone in 5th grade. They're going to get more value out of someone who's just coming out of this or just maybe still experiencing some of these things.
Right.
You know?
Okay.
So that's what keeps me going. And that's why, even though I don't really, like if someone knows me as Rich, I don't care to be like, you need to call me RJ.
Yeah.
It's what I call myself,
So,
how I see myself.
Gotcha.
So when I'm introducing myself, I'm like, I'm RJ. You know what I'm saying? That's who I really am, is that inner child, you know? Not the social mask.
Gotcha.
So right now, it's internally Rich Coaching. One of my mentors, he was like, "Oh, your name is Rich. That kind of works out as like a, you know, right? Internally Rich." I'm like, "Okay, cool." I just ran with that because I was like, the name of the business doesn't matter as much as me fucking starting it.
Yeah.
I know I can get stuck on this. Let me figure out the name.
Yeah.
And I could be there forever procrastinating.
Right.
I was like, whatever. What matters is helping people.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I got somebody working on rebranding. She was like, "Are you married to Intuit?" I'm like, "Not really." She was like, "Well, we'll see. Maybe it'll just be RJ Rivera Coaching, but I'm gonna do some brainstorming for you." And she's like a marketing genius.
Yeah.
Is also aligned with me from a soul level, so I know what she comes up with is still gonna be aligned and not that manipulative marketing type stuff. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you said when you seen your mother, stepfather, and yourself as a child, it was called a
Breathwork.
breathwork. What is that exactly?
Oh, you're not hit the breathwork, bro.
I'm not familiar at all.
It'll change your life, my guy. It's so powerful, man, because what happens is you sit there or lay down and you breathe in as deeply as you can and you breathe out as much as you can. If you do that and it's not like a regular, like a lot of meditation will be right that night.
Yeah.
This is it's like you're really breathing in as hard as possible. It's like a workout, right? If you do that, if you sit there and you breathe as like deep as you can, as hard as you can for 40 minutes, you're gonna start to have some experiences. Okay, and what I've experienced is that it's like it forces the limited ego mind, because the ego, I use the word ego as like a shorter version of conditioned and programmed mind, right? Yeah. We all have this mind that's been conditioned and programmed, and we think we are a personality when in reality we're just pure consciousness that has a personality. We are the watcher of the thoughts, not the thoughts themselves. That breath work will force you out of the ego and into the body. And when the body's intelligence can take over, it'll remove stuck energies, blocked energies, repressed emotions. You'll have visions. Like, again, I had a vision of my father, my stepfather, but it was their children. It was them as children I saw. And I saw myself as a child. And it was like, I've had some very profound experiences. Like the profound experiences I had on plant medicine, like LSD, it was the same type of profound experience on breath work.
I've never tried LSD. I've tried shrooms. I like shrooms a lot though, but I never had like a deep, what is it? Trip. I never had a trip as crazy as most people say they had like that. I might gotta try that 40 minutes. Is it like something you just want to be in complete silence, maybe darkness,
Yeah.
And just
Like I'll put on I'll close the blinds, try to make it dark, and then I have like a blindfold too that I'll throw on and I'll listen. I'll send you guys a couple of the breathworks that because there's some on YouTube that they'll like guide you through it. And yeah, I've had some freaking just very profound, where it be visions, or a lot of times it's like this feeling of, oh shit, everything I've ever wanted is already right here, right now. Mm-hmm. It's like it like will shift me into that vibration or energy that I think the things outside of me will give me. It's like, no, that's all right here, right now.
I got you.
It's powerful, bro. It's so powerful because I love, I think it was Michael Singer. He wrote the book Untethered Soul, and then he wrote another book called Living Untethered. And I like the way he describes just our energy. And nowadays they're doing research and they're seeing how, you know, there is an energetic field around your body. There is an aura. There is this, what is it, the Taurus field, or they see how their energy comes up from the earth through our body, comes around, and essentially, I like how Michael Singer puts it, where he says there's an energy flow that wants to come up and bathe you with just pure positive energy. Yeah. But based off of the traumas and little micro traumas that you went through as a child and as you growing up, it created energetic blockages. So it's like a river, a stream, but then there's a bunch of big rocks and boulders blocking that stream. And the more you do breath work, you're removing these blockages, and the energy flow can just come much more naturally. It can flow naturally the way it was meant to.
Gotcha.
So breath work has been game changer for me.
Do you still do it actively?
Yeah. Actively? Yeah. So it might not be like a.
I was about to say, yeah.
Like for me, I want to say 15 to 30 minutes of breath work, meditation, and yoga is non-negotiable nowadays. Okay. Every single morning I'm in there, and it might be, I'm blessing each energy center and just going in and visualizing the color of each chakra system. Yeah. Just like blessing it. It could be I'm doing the breath where I'll just bring it down, a light from the top of my head. I'll bring it all the way down into my solar plexus. Then I'll breathe it down into the earth and imagine roots going deep into the core of the earth. Then I'll breathe it up into my body from the earth and breathe it back out. It's like using the breath, especially to go into places of my body that are in pain. Yeah. Right? And just sitting with the pain and asking, okay, soul, what you trying to tell me? Right. That's been super, super powerful. Helpful. Like even this morning, I was like, oh, neck pain. Yeah, I'm holding on to some shit. I'm holding on to burdens. I get to give these burdens to God and recognize that it's not my job to figure it out with this limited ego mind. It's my job to tap into the frequency where it's all figured out for me, that God mind. Yeah. Right? Where the problems dissolve because you recognize you're the one that created the problems in your mind. Right. Yeah. Yeah, that's all self. Yeah, breath work is.
And how long you been doing this?
Probably since 2020.
2020? Yeah. So about 5 years strong?
2020. Yep.
And roughly about 15 to 30 minutes a day.
Like I'll do every now and then. I'll do an extended one, the 40 or hour long. One, or I'll do a longer meditation as well. But it's like 15 to 30 minutes is non-negotiable. Okay. Sometimes most of the time I set the time for 15 minutes, and after the 15 minutes I'm like, oh, this is good shit. Another 15 minutes. Let me get another 15 minutes in, But at least 15 minutes is non-negotiable because for me, that's like going to the gym for your mind. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like I know that if I want to create something, I have to use, like my focus is the currency of God. Like my attention, where attention goes, energy flows. Right? Yeah. And if I want to if I want to create something in my life, I got to put all my focus and attention and not let distractions come in. And that's what that meditation and breath work does for me, is it allows me to practice that focused attention and learn how to be the master of my mind and make sure my mind is serving me and not serving my personality or limited identities or stories that I created about myself,
I gotcha. So, okay. Yeah. That's free game, man.
No, this is very good.
Free game, man. Breath work.
Yes, breath work.
So, you know how, what's his name? You on social media, so I know you've seen Ashton Hall.
Action Hall?
Ashton Hall. He's like the guy who dunked his face in water, rubbed his face with banana peels.
I'm not familiar.
You really? No. Okay, he was like...
You see, I'm on social media, but most of the time I post, I know specific people that I want to like engage with, and then I get the fuck off social media. Because I try not to scroll. I try to be very conscious of what I'm letting
into your body
to program my mind. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, he was a guy. He'll post like the times he's doing stuff and things like that. Like he'll post dunking his face in water, working out in the morning, just different things like that. I was like, if you seen it, I might can.
You said Action Hall.
His name is Ashton. Ashton Hall. Yeah.
Got you. Yeah, I'll check it out.
How early in the morning do you wake up to do this meditation, yoga, and the breath work in the morning?
Yeah, it depends what season I'm in because I let myself go through seasons. But a lot of times, well, I'll tell you this: what really transformed my life was when I committed to getting up at 5 a.m. And what I would do was I get up at 5 a.m. I'd walk. Cho boy, my dog. I'd walk him, and then we'd hit the gym. 5:30 to 6:30, we're in the gym. Go back, shower, drop my girl off at work, and then on the way home is my gratitude. So, for that 15 minutes on the way home, rather than being how I was in the past, which is, why the fuck you in the fast lane? Get out the fast lane! I'm just yelling at people. You know what I'm saying? Just road rage, all that bullshit. Now it's like, thank you, God, for my youth. Thank you, God, for my health. Thank you for my gorgeous queen. Thank you that I'm not stuck in a hospital bed. I get to work. I get to go toward, create my dreams right now. You know what I'm saying? I'm young,
absolutely.
I'm healthy. I literally count my blessings every single day because I had someone say, I like the way they put it. They were like, listen, if a little kid came up to you and asked for a piece of candy, and you had a piece of candy, so you hook him up, but then he threw the candy in the dirt and he stomped it in the dirt. But then he looked back at you and said, can I have another piece of candy? Would you give him another piece of candy?
Probably not.
Hell no, right? He didn't appreciate the first piece of candy you gave him. And that is how the universe feels when we spend all our time bitching, moaning, and complaining about everything we don't have in life. Right?
That's a bar.
Yeah,
God is like, hold on, brother.
Yeah.
You're young, you're healthy, you're in America, you got food, you got shelter, you got running water. You can go shit in the bathroom. You don't even have an outhouse and just flush it down the toilet. You know, think about how blessed you are. You're not a refugee. You're not. You know what I'm saying? Like when I allowed myself to recognize that the only way I was going to create what I wanted in my life was to align my energy with that, and the only way to align my energy with that is to be in a state of gratitude for what I already have. Yeah. Right. I want to be the kid that says, "Oh, that candy was delicious. Thank you so much for that candy." Right. Can I have another piece? Damn right. Here's all the candy, man. You appreciate it. I'm trying to give you all this. So when I committed myself to gratitude, it changed my whole life. Like I just got these things that I wanted so fast because I committed myself to being in that energy of gratitude. Yeah. But then I'll get home, I'll do my meditation. Sometimes it's gratitude and affirmations, like I'm just yelling, I've quantum shifted into my highest timeline. I now live in the vortex permanently. The vortex is like the place where all good things come to you because you're just in this perfect energy of abundance. I would say, God's wealth flows to me in avalanches of abundance with effortless ease. All of my needs, goals, and desires are met instantaneously through infinite intelligence because I am one with God and God is everything. Yeah. I'm a unique emanation of the Most High, sent here to reflect and reveal God's love in only the way that I can. I'm a vessel for God's love. I'm a weapon for God's love. I'll just get myself energy. Yeah. And I'm just like so high vibe, just so ready to go. Right? Yeah. To the point where when I get into my day, like from 5 a.m. to 9 a.m. is non-negotiable, just inner work, just the gratitude, the working out, the affirmations, the meditation. By the time 9 a.m. comes and I'm getting into my day, I feel so good.
Just tackle the world.
Exactly.
Yeah, I need to start doing this because my job's stressful. I'd be stressed at work. Dealing with hundreds of people all day is just makes you just want to curse at every person that walks into that building. Just, why the fuck are you here? What are you doing here? Go home. Go be with your family.
And you know what? What did they say? Someone said if you encounter an asshole in the morning, that's normal. But if you're encountering assholes all day, you're probably the asshole.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm probably an asshole. I'm just gonna be honest here. Damn,
but it's real, man, because we're this I'm deep into the fact that there are forces that want and have kind of essentially have created modern day feudalism, where there's certain people at the top that, you know, have and want all the power, and they want to keep the masses disempowered. And a very good way they do that is say, yeah, wake up at the right when you have to every day and just drive to work and, you know, do some job that you don't really love, that doesn't really light you up, and then go home and watch Netflix and drink, smoke, do whatever, and then do it all over again and just get in this rat race, just get in this loop of life where you're going to get to the end of your life and be haunted by the ghosts of your untapped potential and unused skills and talents.
Yeah.
But we're conditioned to believe that this is the way it's supposed to be.
Right.
So for me, spending that time in the morning and committing myself to that inner work is what allowed me to go into my day from that place of, from a place of abundance, from a place of like, I don't need anything outside of me to feel good.
Yeah.
You know, I don't, because we're so conditioned to play the outside in game.
Yeah.
Is what it's called. Outside in. The house, the car, the money, the status.
Everything on the outside.
The titties, the booty,
everything.
the followers,
Literally everything.
the muscles. That makes me good. That makes me enough.
Yeah.
Right? That's the core wound. I am not enough.
Status.
And I need all this shit outside of me to feel enough. And that game never ends. You live your life like you're trying to get to the horizon. And the horizon just keeps moving back. I need to learn how to cultivate it from inside of me. Play the inside out. And even I love Will Smith. He did that's been going viral recently, where Will Smith was like, "Hey, there's something called rock bottom that a lot of people hit. Then there's also something called cliff top. And when you get to the end of money, the end of sex, the end of everything, and you like reach the cliff top, you experience this same void, this same emptiness that was at rock bottom. You realize none of this shit can make me happy.
Right.
You know? So I saw people like the Robin Williams who ended their own life. I just trusted those people like Will Smith that said, hey, cliff top ain't what you think it is.
Right.
Right? You got to cultivate it from within.
Yeah.
I committed myself to that, you know, and that's what Miracle Morning helped me with.
That's what the saying, money can't buy you happiness. That's where I feel like that really comes from right there.
Yeah.
Man, I agree with you on everything you just said.
For real.
Because I believe in that as well. Whatever you put out in the atmosphere, it comes right back to you. So you putting that great energy out for yourself into the atmosphere. So when you ready to start your day, that great energy comes right back up to you, and you ready to tackle the world and serve other people. And it makes it easy on you because you already feel good about yourself. One of the things that I do that works for me every morning is I wake up and I be like, man, thank you God for everything you did to this point to get me where I'm at today. Because now everything you got me, everything you did up to this point, you got me here. And then thank you for the life that you are taking me to moving forward. That's what I say every morning. And I swear, man, I don't know what it is, but every time I say it, man, a big smile comes on my face. It's like natural. Like, it's uncontrollable. Like, I can't control it. So I feel that energy because you're putting that out in the atmosphere, and then like you said, you go tackle your day and you feel like you can tackle the world. It don't matter how bad something goes, you be like, it's not going to affect my day.
Exactly. And adversity becomes an opportunity to exercise the frequency you've chosen.
So I wholeheartedly agree with that. And I just came across a quote not too long ago, or quote or a saying, but don't let that bad day determine the rest of your life. Because that's what a lot of people do. Like, oh man, I had a bad day, my life is ruined. No, you got 364 extra days to go in the year, or how many hours in the day to continue, or whatever the case may be. But don't let that one thing determine the rest of your life. And that's what a lot of people do. Sadly to say.
For sure.
So, in your field of work, what other services do you provide other than life coach? Because you just spoken to them just naturally because it just came. Gave y'all free game, y'all. But what other services do you provide for people other than speaking life into people and finance? I should say finance, and then speaking life into people through finance. What other things do you
that's it.
do you give? That's it?
Nothing else.
No,
You hit it. I mean, it's the tangible and the intangible, right? Because I started from the tangible. I started out getting the life insurance license. So I help people with life insurance. Educate them about the difference between term and whole life. The different type of permanent policies. I got deep into the infinite banking concept. And how to like actually structure policies in a way that adds the most value to you and not just the insurance company. And then I got the Series 6 and 63, which allowed me to broker mutual funds and exchange traded funds. If you're familiar, for those who aren't familiar with a mutual fund, it's essentially like a basket of investments, right? So like you could have, instead of investing in one stock, like you can just invest in one stock and you own a portion of one company. You could invest in one mutual fund, which is just a basket of a bunch of investments, right? So you can invest in one fund and you actually is diversified again with 100 different companies, but it's in that one fund. So you put it in one place and it allows you to invest like a layman can invest more like a advanced investor and have a diversified portfolio because they invested in that one fund, right?
Absolutely,
so I would help people invest in those. Then I got the Series 7 to be a stockbroker just because I wanted to learn about that. Not necessarily because I wanted to help people trade individual stocks. I just wanted to get the education. And then I got the Series 66 to be a registered investment advisor. And I was so like, I wanted that so badly because that was the license that made you a fiduciary. And by a fiduciary, that means that you are legally obligated to do what's in the best interest of your client. And that was always really important to me, doing what was in the best interest of people, right? Integrity was paramount. And the reason I left my first firm was because the main guy, the branch manager, was like, oh, you shouldn't feel bad about doing the second or the third best plan for your client if it makes you more money. That's a win-win. You know, you're making money, and you know any plan is better than nothing with these people we're working with.
Right.
And I'm like, oh, so you're telling me it's okay to make money at my client's expense and put them in a shitty ass plan just so I can make more money? Because anything's better than nothing. I was crazy.
Like, deuces, you know what I mean?
Not how I want to do business. I'm trying to sleep at night.
I'm gonna let you go on, but real quick, like that's how I feel in my line of work because I'm a service advisor for Mercedes-Benz.
Okay, gotcha.
Now, one thing about Mercedes-Benz, a lot of people buy Benzes and can't really afford them. So what my managers and stuff tell you to do, they tell you to push and get that sale, make your numbers so you can make money, but at the risk of putting somebody else at risk of now you either for rent, phone bills, light bills, some other crazy bills.
Repossessed.
Repossessed, can't afford a car note anymore. But I tell people all the time, like, your tires, they're not that bad. Go ahead. Go another 2 months, 3 months without getting tires, put that money away, then come back. And I try my best to help the people out rather than putting myself first. Like I need this money right now because I got this trip next week. I want these shoes. I want to go do this, do that. I always try to like. I'm a customer based person. Like I help the customer before I help myself.
To me, a lot of us are conditioned to, I like how Wallace Wattles puts it. He wrote The Science of Getting Rich. He calls it the creative plane versus the competitive plane. And a lot of us are living on the competitive plane, which comes from the idea that there is not enough, that there is lack. Right? Lack. And we even if you study economics in college, the professor will say, economics is the study of allocating scarce resources. Meaning resources are scarce. And that's just programmed into us. Scarce. There's not enough. So now we're actually conditioned to believe if I'm getting for me and my family, I actually have to take away from someone else. There's a finite pie of resources. And me getting for me and my family is taking away from someone else's ability to get for them and theirs. And that's on that competitive plane, which says, you know, I gotta get over on this person to make my money. You know what I'm saying? You know, fuck them. I gotta.
Literally.
The creative plane says, no, I can give every man more in use value than he gives me in cash value. Right. Whatever he gives me in cash, what I give him back is going to be worth more than that cash to him. Right. And that comes from a place of abundance that says there is more than enough, and any resources that are actually scarce. There's human ingenuity, creativity, and resourcefulness that is in abundance that can make those resources abundant. Right. So we've got to come from that place of like, there is enough. And when I put that good energy out and I actually take care of people, that's going to come around. Right, that's why I lived off of referrals. Right? Like nowadays, I'm getting better at the marketing and doing using social media and like attracting people on there, but I lived off referrals.
For referrals, yep.
Like I built my business off referrals because people knew this dude cares about me, and he'll actually, like, I'll show them. I'll be like, here's how this policy is set up, and here's the commission from it. But here's how I'm going to do it, and here's the commission from it.
Yeah.
And I'm letting you know that I'm going to sacrifice this commission to make sure I put you in the best position possible.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Hold up. Did you subscribe yet? What you waiting on? Why you still haven't subscribed? I see you looking at me while I'm looking at you, while you looking at me while I'm looking back at you, and you still haven't subscribed. What's going on? Fuck with me. Come on, man. DGF TV, subscribe. Y'all know what the fuck going on. Y'all know what the DJ do. Come on, man. Continue tapping in, baby. Let's do it. Like I said, man, continue tapping in. Hey, right now, we're at 201 subscribers. Next giveaway is at 250. We're giving a giveaway every 50 subscribers. Tap in. When you get to the 250, you either gonna get a gift card, a bottle, or a DGF t-shirt, which is on my body. You feel me? Boom. And then you also got the other one, my brain be twerking. Little special little shit. So, like I said, man, continue tapping in. I still didn't see you subscribe though, so I don't know what you're doing. Matter of fact, stop everything right now. Do it. Hit that button right now. Right now. Right the fuck now. Fuck with y'all. Love y'all. I'm out.
And I can attest to that myself because, you know, even recently, you know, with the whole life insurance policies that we created, and we went through all that work in creating, you know, the three policies that we had. And then 4 or 5 months later, you come back to me and like, brother, I got a better deal for you. Yeah. I think you can maximize your money so much more over here than with me. Yeah. And you put me first in that. Yeah. And, you know, I even, after we had that conversation, you know, I had that conversation, which was like, are you sure? Are you sure you want me to do that? Because, you know, like, I want to make sure it's okay with you first. And that's just me making sure it's okay with you because I respect you and who you are as a person and, you know, everything you've done for me. Is that okay? And then your response was, nah, brother, like, that's what it's about. Helping you find the next resource to grow what you want to do, even 10 times higher. Mm-hmm. And then it's just a domino effect. Yeah. You know, so I can attest to that personally because we just went through that. We literally just went through that, probably like within the last 2-3 weeks. So, yeah, man.
Yeah, because I can't see something and be like, okay, I'm about to do this for myself. Yeah. And then not tell my people about it. You know, like I gotta at least let y'all know this is an option and it could be like super lucrative and great for you. You know what I'm saying? That's, like, I'm about to do this, so
maybe you should do it too, right?
Yeah. So on the tangible side, it's like all the tangible things that a traditional financial advisor would do, I can do, but I actually dropped, the only license I kept was the life insurance license. The other ones, Series 6, 63, 66, 7, I let them go because, how do I put this? The traditional financial advising industry is actually set up in a way that keeps people financially illiterate and disempowered. And that's because the way they do it is they say, like, all those licenses, they didn't really teach me how to help my clients achieve their goals. What they taught me was how to help insurance and investment companies achieve their goals, how to sell their products, right? Yeah. And most of my training was not in, oh, let's do this qualitative and quantitative analysis so you can make the right stock picks for your clients. Nah, that wasn't it. It was, let me show you the psychology of buyers so that you can fearmonger someone into getting you to manage their money. Yeah. And when you actually realize that these financial advisors that are charging this assets under management fee of like, oh yeah, you know, I'll manage your money for you and I'll just 1%. I'm just going to take a 1% assets under management fee. Yeah. When you see what that 1% compounds to be over a long time frame, And then you realize that the financial advisor is not the one that's managing the money. He's actually just playing the middleman between you and portfolio managers. And you realize, hold on, if I cut out the middleman and go straight to the portfolio managers, I'll, one, get a high rate of return because I'm not paying that fee.
Right.
But two, I'm also empowering myself to learn how to manage my own money. And I believe that there are 3 areas of human mastery: health, wealth, relationships. Health, wealth, and relationships.
Yep.
If I was to go to someone and say, listen, this relationship with my wife is hard, man. Can you take care of that for me? Like, how do you think that's going to go, right? That ain't going to go very well. I have to empower myself and know how to hold space for my women, how to, like, honor her to it. I got to do my own thing. I got to learn how to master that relationship, right?
For sure.
But with money, that's what everyone's doing. Hey, you just take care of the relationship between me and my money. You know, it's too complicated. It's too hard. So you do it for me.
Yeah.
But, and then I show people the math. I'm like, okay, if you invested, you know, $500 a month for the next 30 years and you got a 7% rate of return, it would grow to $650,000. But if they didn't take that 1% fee and you actually got the full 8% rate of return, you would have $900,000. So this advisor is taking $150,000 of your money, and he ain't doing much to earn it.
Right.
He's not doing.
They're just passing it along.
He's just holding it in an account for you. And then when the market crashes, he's just holding your hand and saying, oh yeah, the market goes up and down. That's what it does. You know, actually, you might want to give me more of your money because now's the best time to invest because the market's down, right? So the fact that, like, for me, I rather spend a couple hours teaching somebody about this stuff. Teach them how to fish instead of fishing for them, right? You teach a man to fish, you feed him for life. Yeah. And that's exactly what I do as a coach, instead of, because the traditional route is, I'm going to keep you disempowered. And I'll tell you a story about how this really hit me, because I had this, you know, senior advisor, and he was a good guy, pretty moral, you know. I thought he was a great mentor. I learned a lot from him, but brought him into a meeting with one of my clients, and this client's like, yo, I'm really passionate about this business. Like, I want to do this business, but I know it's going to take some time to get off the ground, you know, and I'm making a steady income. I met so many people like this. You know, I'm making a steady income, but fucking hate this job. I want to start my business, you know. This is what I'm really passionate about. I know it's going to be successful. I just got to, you know, get out there. This advisor says, listen, you know, if you just work at this job for 10 more years, look at what your pension's going to be. You know, if you just stick it out for 10 more years, you're going to have this awesome pension. Yeah. And then you'll be able to do what you want to do and da-da-da-da-da.
Right.
Why did he want this person to stay at this job? Because that brought in steady income for that person. And that steady income allowed this person to fund these financial vehicles that were going to get us paid. So he now has an incentive to disempower this person and say, no, stay in the rat race. Yeah. Stay working some fucking job you hate. Don't build your business. Don't take this risk and go after your biggest goals and dreams in life. No. Just stay doing this shit so that I can get paid. Yeah. Right? That's the way they're incentivized. And then they're incentivized to hold people money. So now when someone says, yo, my boy, he just came up with this great business idea. I want to liquidate some of my investments so I can invest in this. Or I got a business. Let me invest some of my business in my personal development or whatever. Now the advisor has a massive incentive to say, bad idea. Right. You're going to want to keep your money with me. Right? Because giving the money back is, he's losing money now. He's losing money. Right? So I'm like, I will not allow any incentive for me to disempower my clients. Every single way that I get paid is going to be in alignment with my clients being able to live their best life. Right? So that's why I was like, fuck those licenses. Yes, the life insurance is in a place where it's like complicated to structure those things correctly. Yeah. And you actually need to work with an agent to get it done. So I'm like, I'll keep that. Because at first I actually didn't have it. I was just doing coaching. And then I sat down with all these people that had these booty policies that were structured so bad. And I was like, oh, okay, now I got to get the license to help people structure these efficiently. You know what I'm saying? Because I hate seeing people, you know, invest in the shit that's not giving them the type of return that they could be getting. Right, you know? Right. So... And you spoke on something like relationships and being able to, you know, when you bring somebody and give them what they need, and you give them the tools to essentially do it on their own. You know, some people may have that fear
as coaches, that they might leave and just go do it on their own, right? Because you taught them all the tools, so they don't essentially need you anymore. Have you had any challenge with that? Because usually people be like, "Oh well, he taught me everything. I could just do it on my own now. Like I could just do it by myself."
That's my goal.
Yeah. Oh, that is your goal. Okay.
Yeah, that's exactly what I want. I even had a client say recently, "Oh, I wanted to wait until our session to really deal with this," and I was like, "No waiting, bro.
Do it.
I'm not here to create a dependent relationship."
Okay.
Right. That's why That's why I don't even like the traditional therapy model, because the traditional therapy model, they get paid hourly, which means they now have an incentive to get their clients to spend as much time with them as possible, right?
Yeah.
For me, I say, I'm going to charge you this amount, and here's the result you're going to get.
Yeah.
I don't get paid for my time. I get paid for the results you're going to get in your life.
Right.
So now I actually have an incentive to get you that result in as quick a time as possible.
Yeah.
Right? So again, it's all about the way it's incentives. And what's wrong, Nico? For me, I want them to be able to go out and do it on their own.
Okay.
I want them to know, hey, I'm here to support you if you have questions. But at the end of the day, this is about empowerment.
Right.
You not need it. Like, I want you to not need me. I don't want to create a dependent relationship.
Gotcha.
Even if I sniff that out even a little bit, I'm like, no. That's not what we're doing here. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah. So you want that. So with that being said, do you have a fear of like losing people? Because technically once you give them the tools, they don't need it anymore. Do you have that fear of losing people from that standpoint? Because
what do you mean by losing people?
So say us three, right? We come to you and be like, hey man, what is the best way to invest in mutual funds, mutual bonds? And you give us all the keys how to do it, man. It takes 3 months. Now you give us that goal. Do you have that fear of us just leaving and like how do you manage that when we leave? And then like how do you get more people? How do you retain your business to keep going in that circumstances? Because we got what we need, so now we're on to the next now.
Yeah.
How do you continue to thrive in business when you operate with that? Because you said you want people to leave. I mean, you want people to do it on their own. You not have to depend on you.
Yeah.
So how do you thrive when that is your goal?
Yeah. So one, what's cool about life insurance business is that there is recurring income.
Okay.
So like as people continue to pay into their policies every year, there's renewals.
Okay.
So I get to create some recurring income there and a cash flow
Gotcha.
asset for myself.
Okay.
So there's that. There's also like, there's no fear of losing people just because I've like created this community, like a Facebook group, and all my clients are in there.
Okay.
And it's like, if they need support, they can just go there, and I hold my weekly Q&As, and even if you've already gone through my program, you can come back and get some support. So it's like the type of relationship that I build with people, because I'm creating that empowerment. I'm not worried about losing it because I'm not in a state of lack. Yeah. Right?
Gotcha.
If I was in a state of lack, I would be like, oh, I got to hold on to these clients. And I got to make sure I keep these clients. But because I'm in a place of abundance, I'm like, there's a lot of fucking people out there.
Right.
And there's always going to be more people that need this. So it's like, I know that I can create that independence and say, go do it on yourself. I'm always going to be here for you. We created this lifelong relationship, especially if you got a policy with me. Yeah. We're going to be sitting down and we're going to be reviewing it. And, if one company's doing some shiesty shit, we're going to move over here. So we create that long-term relationship. But at the end of the day, because I'm in that place of abundance that there's so many fucking people out there that need this work, I don't worry about losing,
Gotcha. Now, I asked that question because, for the people in the world, they might want to know, like, how do you retain business? Especially, it kind of, not saying somebody would use your model, but if they did, they'll be able to listen to you and thrive off of what you do if they wanted to go into the same type of business as you. So that's why I wanted to ask that question, because when you become this life coach, you're essentially selling yourself in the best way possible. Whatever your tactic, whatever your ways are that you do, you're selling yourself because you're your source of income. And, you know, like you said before, a lot of people dwell on the fact that, oh, I need this money. Oh, I need this. How I'm going to survive? How I'm going to do this? How I'm going to do that? So it's that fear of they might want to do it, but they don't have the tools to actually become a life coach or a success coach because of the time or the management of it or how to retain people to keep coming back or to create them relationships, like you said, to keep going, because that's the tough part. So, hey man, he do this at least every 3 episodes.
It's set for when the podcast.
So, but no, yeah. So that's why I asked that question because I a little bit, like I told you before, a little bit about my brand. Like dreams get fulfilled. I like to see people win. So part of the reason why I bring people on the couch is because I want people to want to share knowledge to them, the viewers, and then also let them know that if they wanted to do something like this, they can. And here go the tools to do it. And it's kind of like giving them a free game. And because, everybody always have that nervousness to take that leap of faith. So it's just giving those keys and asking those pivotal questions to help people learn that knowledge or get exposed to it because they might not on their own time. And this is a way to do it.
Exactly.
So, that's why I asked that question, man.
Yeah, I know there's a lot of people out there that are in that place of lack. And they need to get, they don't need to do anything, but it would add value to them to recognize that, oh no, I can set my business up in a way where I'm constantly attracting new people.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that I'm not in this place of like, I can't lose these people. I got to retain these people. It's like, no, there's always more.
Got you, man. I should have asked this before, but where can people find you? Where's the best way people can find you, reach you, connect for your services, anything?
Yeah.
Where is the best place to do that?
Yeah, so probably Instagram.
Instagram?
Yeah, RJ Rivera Coaching on
Okay.
Instagram. I use that as like my website right now because it's got a bunch of testimonials on there. The pin post, people can learn about me and see how I work with people. I do have someone working on a little simple like website for me right now, but I found funnels to be a good way because a funnel, like a website is like a brochure, like let me tell you about you. But a funnel is like, let me tell you about you. The website is, let me tell you about me. The funnel is, let me tell you about you. Let me make sure you're problem aware. And then when people resonate with it, they, opt in for the next step and the next step. So that's been my favorite way of generating new businesses, just putting it like, hey, I got a webinar coming out. Webinar. People come in, they get the value, and then at the end, I'm like, if you got value out of this and you want to make it not just information, but actual transformation, if you want to take action with what you learn, I got the space.
You got the space to open that,
So that's been good, and then referrals. But while I have somebody working on a website, because I do want that brochure, so that like I told somebody I do speaking, and he was like, oh, send me your website. I was like, yeah, I need to get on that. It's like, for now, just share my IG, because I got pretty much all the information there. But yeah, website's in the works.
Gotcha. Okay, man, that's dope. You mentioned your webinar. So, and that's dealing with speaking. So in terms of that, do you do in-house speaking to like people, to schools, to adults? Do you hold seminars in person? Because webinars on the web. Do you do in person?
Yeah, definitely for different nonprofits. I've done in person, like mentoring mentors, building steps, different schools I go to. Of course, there's a lot of webinars too that I just run, but I like doing in-person stuff.
You like doing that?
Me and Brandon and Zaid, we're gonna work on like doing an actual in-person event. So I'm excited to create that Cause I love.
Yeah, shoot that to me. I would love to be
Being
there.
in front of people.
Yeah.
Sure, I'll come too.
Yeah.
That's my favorite.
Yeah, because that was my next question. Do you like webinars or in person better?
Both, but yeah. I feel like it's not like I definitely like in person better. Yeah, because
I can sense that.
Able to, like,
You can touch people more.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
There's a different feeling of actually being in someone's energy.
Yeah.
You know, like in their space.
Yeah.
You know, so I like that for sure.
So with that being said, have you ever had any challenges with speaking in person? And when I mean challenges, I mean like no crowd engagement, people not understanding, or has it always been like kind of like successful in some type of way?
Both, and it's always been successful in some type of way.
Mm-hmm.
But I've also I've been trying better. How can I put it? It's a fine line between just letting myself flow and speaking my truth as it comes out, while also giving myself permission or making sure that I slow down and meet people where they are.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Especially with the kids, with the young folks. There was a part of me that was like, guys, like, I'm not here. Like, a part of me wanted to be like, guys, I'm not here to meet you where you are. I'm going to be where I'm at.
Yeah.
And I'm going to inspire you to come up to where I'm at.
Yeah.
Right? Like, the people who inspired me, who had the most value in my life, they didn't speak my language or meet me where they were. They spoke a foreign language, and I had to learn it.
You had to learn it.
You know what I'm saying? I had to raise myself up to where they were.
Yeah.
So there's that, but then there's also like, okay, let me make sure I'm not just talking at people, and I'm creating safe space for them to get vulnerable. Because that, with the schools, that's when it really, like, when I started asking more questions and actually getting them to tell their own stories.
Yeah.
And then you have another kid like, oh yeah, I got a story like that too. And now you're starting to create actual engagement and conversation and safe space to get vulnerable. That's where true, like, transformation happens and, like, impact happens in those spaces. So that's what I'm getting better at.
Getting better,
You know
okay.
what I'm saying? Because the fear of speaking is so
It's
far.
so far, yeah.
For me, it's
Oh, for you, yeah.
For me, like, because I started off like one of my boys took me to a networking event, and I was like, you want me to talk to these strangers? I don't know these people. You want me to talk to strangers? Like, I was not about it. And now I get paid to speak.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it was a complete transformation from being afraid to speak to people to getting, like, making a living from speaking. You know? So I say that to say transformation is possible when it comes to that. And I'm blessed to be able to say there's, like, when I go into a space, I'm just like, God flow through me. Whatever comes is meant to come, and there's not really. Sometimes there's. I don't label it as fear though. I label it as excitement. Yeah. You know, I'll get a pit in my stomach. I might be shaking.
Yeah.
That just means I'm really fucking excited to get in front of these people. You know, so I don't even label it as fear anymore. But I am working to get better at just creating more of a space for engagement and not just talking at people.
Gotcha. Okay.
I just heard that it was like, you know, people get butterflies. Like, you take those butterflies as excitement. I'm super excited to get here. I'm super excited to see the next steps of what's about to happen. And people I'm about to speak to, are they going to soak up? But you're excited to just be there in that moment right there. Now, I like that. I think I needed to hear that personally, because I do get butterflies all the time. I'm a very anxious person. And hearing that, it's like, damn, I got to think of that as excitement rather than worried about failing or worried about not amounting what I expect I'm about to do today.
Exactly. There's a distinction between emotions and feelings for me. Emotion is the energy and motion in my body. The feeling is the label that I place on it in my mind. Right?
Okay,
so the emotion, the energy and motion of the pit in my stomach or the shakes or whatever it is, that's just an emotion. That's just energy. Right? The label I place on it is going to determine how I experience that. Yeah.
Okay.
Right? So if I place the label, I'm afraid, now I'm making up stories in my head, but right now I'm reciting the worst case scenario and all that shit. But when I label it as excitement, I'm like, now I'm reciting the best case scenarios. Now I'm reminding myself, bro, if just one person gets one little good nugget out of this, it was all worth it. You know, this is not about you, bro. This is about who you can impact, right? And that positive comes up. So, yeah, it's like, how am I labeling that emotion? You know what I'm saying?
I got you. Yeah. No, that makes 100% sense.
Yeah.
Now I can reprogram my brain into thinking like similar to that, like similar to like these butterflies. Let me say, all right, going on a trip. It's gonna be a good trip. It's gonna be a bad trip. Something negative is gonna happen. Rather than I'm about to have an amazing time. I'm gonna have the best time ever. I'm gonna meet some people that's gonna have a great help me enjoy it.
Yeah.
This new environment that I'm gonna join. Like,
yeah. And can I share one more thing with you, brother?
Mm-hmm.
Be careful about don't use the Lord's name in vain. And when I say that, I mean I am. Because what did the Lord say to Moses? He said, I am that I am. Right? And even in the Bible, it says that God's name is I am. So anytime you say I am something negative, you're using the Lord's name in vain. So
I've never heard that one before.
You experience anxiety. You are not an anxious person. You said, I am an anxious person. Careful with that, bro. Don't identify with that, man. You're building a new identity, right? So every time, that's a negative affirmation. You're affirming to your subconscious mind, I'm an anxious person, right? So you say, hey, I experience anxiety, but I'm not identifying with it as if that's my anxiety or something. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I wanted to throw that out there.
Appreciate
you aware
of that,
man. You know?
Okay.
That's powerful.
I've never heard that before in my life. I've never heard nobody say that before.
I am is such a powerful. Anything you say after I am is you're affirming that to the mind, and you're like, to me, I believe God is our awareness of self, because we can be. And I'm getting real deep and esoteric here, but I like the way T. Harv Eker puts it. He says we're all like a fish in water. And the fish doesn't know it's in water until it pops out of the water and it can't breathe. That's us wrapped up in the incessant chatter of our mind, thinking that we are our mind. But when you pop behind the mind and you experience pure consciousness or awareness of the mind, you realize I'm none of those thoughts. I'm the awareness of the thoughts. I'm not the thinker, I'm the awareness of the thoughts, right? Mm-hmm. And the more you ponder, like, okay, if me being a man is gone, or me being Puerto Rican is gone, if all these identities weren't there, what's left? Yeah. Awareness of being. I exist. That's all that I really know at the core is I exist. And that I am state, just that, not I am anything, just I am, is the awareness of God. Like, God is also that awareness. And because we are one with God, we can create from that place of pure consciousness, right? Pure awareness. That's why meditation is so important for me. It's like practicing just sitting in the seat as the observer of my mind and not identifying as my mind, as a bundle of mental constructs and ideas. Because I'm so much bigger than any mental construct or idea, right? Mm-hmm. So that's just a game-changing recognition when you really realize, oh shit, I am pure consciousness, and that pure consciousness is actually connected with everyone and everything. It's one.
That was dope. Let's take a shot to that one.
I'm about to use one of dead. You see the back of the shirt. I'm gonna show the people. You got my brain twerking over here. The brain is twerking right now. After every word he's saying, I'm just thinking about. I'm applying it to my life, and I think this is the perfect conversation to have to end my work week. Because Thursday, my Friday. This is my Friday. This is how I end my week. Nice. And Friday is actually the start of my weekend. Nice. So going into the weekend, I love positivity. I love having fun. Yeah. That's why I do these podcasts with bro. That's why I sometimes like to go out on Thursdays. Just to end my weekend and just be excited, be happy. My week is over. I can start fresh with a weekend. Now, hearing this, it's like, okay, I got to pretty much rebrand that start fresh. From going out drinking, just having fun, to let me focus on that conscious that's within me and rebrand that to, like you said, meditating, brain work, and maybe even yoga. I said I was going to do yoga for a long time, just never got into it. Mm-hmm. I'm liking everything you're saying to me. Is like it's sticking. Yeah. My man Nico got something to say too.
Yeah, buddy.
Are you tripping? Go lay down.
Yeah, we definitely gotta.
But yeah, let's toast to
Definitely gotta
that
drink to
because
that.
that was
She have it?
Nah, he's empty.
yeah.
She's like, use two hands. I don't know what you use one hand for.
Y'all know my dog always have someone doing podcast segment. I don't know, for some reason he likes to have a ball.
He feels the energy.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, let's take a shot to that. And that was a beautiful affirmation.
But spread this word to my girl. I always say we need to pray together. Now, let's meditate together. Let's do this brain work together.
How do you pray? What does prayer look like for you? Is it like the traditional, like get on my knees and thank God for stuff and like?
I do thank God for stuff. I thank God for my friends, family, position I'm in today. I also ask God to bless my friends and family. Also, I don't just focus on myself when I pray. I try to focus on not everybody in my life, but as many people as I can think about in that moment.
Yeah.
That's prayer for me. But I don't necessarily get on my hands and my knees. I don't necessarily put my hands together, close my eyes, bow my head. I might be laying in bed and I might be just looking at the ceiling. I might be watching TV and just thanking God for everything and just in my mind just praising Him and appreciating everything that He does for me because I don't have to be here right now.
Yeah. I like to say you're never not praying.
Literally, I agree with that.
You are always praying. The universe is always listening. And something that I've learned is that the traditional, like, God, can you please make this happen for me?
That's a form of prayer.
It is a form of prayer, but it's also something that can be disempowering. Go ahead.
My uncle is a pastor, and I don't go to church too often. Like I'm rarely in church. Like you said, when you first started, grew up as a Christian, but you learn to more so praise a higher power, more to praise a God. Like you have a direct connection with God. I feel the same way. But when I went to church, he was like, you can't pray and ask God, can you please bring me millions? Can you please bring me this? Can you please bring me that? I forgot how he worded it, but you have to just thank him for everything that you have right now, and then he's going to bring more. You also brought that up among like this conversation also. Yeah. And that's just...
Yeah, and the reason I ask about the prayer, thank you for sharing, brother.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. Is because, like, I read a book called Conversations with God. And a lot of people think it's going to be religious, but it was, like, actually anti-religious, heavy spiritual. Like, you know, and one of the biggest concepts that just... This is a book that every 2 pages I'd be crying because it wasn't like I was learning new information. It was like I was remembering what my soul already knew to be true. It was just affirmation of like what I had experienced already and what I felt and knew to be true inside. And I'm just like, oh my God, yeah. One of the things it said was that wanting is a state of lack. When you say, I want this, you are also saying to the universe, to God, source energy, cosmic consciousness, infinite intelligence, whatever you call that power, you're saying, I don't have this. And the universe is a impersonal energy. It even says in the Bible, God is no respecter of persons. And the way I take that is that God doesn't operate the way we do. And it's not like God is like on some Bruce Almighty shit of like, let me say yes to some prayers and no to some others, right? God is one big yes machine. The universe is one big yes machine. And if we are going to the universe and saying, I want this, the universe is saying, yes, you do want that. You want it. And you're going to stay in a place of wanting. But when you're in a place of recognizing that God has blessed you with the same powers it has, right? The power to create what you choose to experience by allowing your thoughts, your words, and your actions to be in alignment. When you realize your power, now you're not going saying, God, can you make this happen for me? Can you please make this happen? You're saying, God, thank you for blessing me with everything I need to create for myself. You've blessed me with your creative power. And now instead of saying, I want this, I'm going to be so bought into my creative power that I'm not even going to, I don't have to want it. I choose it. And then I feel as if it's already here. Me feeling like it's already here I call it quantum shifting into a new timeline. You're shifting your energy to match the energy of what you choose to experience, and to me, that's what manifestation is. You know, so now I thank God in advance for what I choose to experience. I don't say, can you please make this happen for me? I say, ooh, thank you for that house with the woods in the south and the open fields to the east and west. As far as the eye can see, I'm so specific about what it is that I desire. And I'm just imagining like it's happening now and thanking God as if it's already happened.
Okay.
And that's what's got me to this place now, where, you know what I'm saying, where I have this gorgeous wife and this beautiful life that I'm so fucking blessed, and I attribute that to that practice.
One thing I can say, you have
having gratitude for this now, and gratitude in advance for what I know is coming.
Man, one thing I can say, same thing I tell Dale all the time. You have a great energy. Like, in your presence is just, it's great. It's amazing. I like being in your presence. Like I like being in bro present. Me and bro go out and do anything. We have fun every time. I never had a bad time with this. Never. Even if we just sober, me and Dale can go to a library right now and have a blast.
Yep.
And enjoy ourselves.
Yep.
And I feel like I can do the same thing with you. Like I feel like we can go do anything and just be an enjoyable moment because your energy is so overwhelming to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's amazing. I'm enjoying this. This is going to be, like I say, every podcast, it's going to be one of my favorite podcasts. I'm going to promote the shit out. I need everybody to hear your story and what you have to say on this because it's very important to not only our people, but to the world for real.
Yeah.
Just to everybody. It's 100%. Very important. And it could go, people that listen to this should think inner rather than thinking what, like, not necessarily what you can change, but just think about yourself at this moment.
Yeah.
And just grow from there.
And hopefully use you and hit you up and use you for coaching.
Probably.
Life coaching and
I need that.
success.
I have a lot of self-doubt with myself, and I don't know why, but I do. I'm just going to be 100% and open on this platform. But yeah, I have a lot of self-doubt because of a lot of failures in my life, a lot of not doing what I want to do with myself and just being disappointed. Like, yeah, it's a lot of shit I can go on and on about. But
Yeah,
I can honestly use your services a lot.
Yeah,
you can help me out a lot for sure.
Yeah,
and I think a lot of people can use that too.
We all need it, man. We all need it.
Yeah.
I definitely needed it. I couldn't call myself a coach if I didn't step into spaces where I was getting my ego challenged and getting my language mirrored back to me. I remember one of my coaches, he was like, I hear you saying this generational curse a lot. And he was like, that's a really strong phrase. Are you sure it's not generational blessings? I was like, fuck. That's actually fact, because I wouldn't be the man I am today if it wasn't for those generational curses. Because now me going on a path of transcending that stuff is the reason I am I wouldn't be a mentor for mentoring mentors if I didn't have that deep father wound and want to show up as the type of father figure that a lot of these kids don't have, that I didn't have.
That is true.
So for me, I believe that we're here to turn our pain into passion and purpose. That's alchemy, right? That's alchemizing your pain and transforming it, transmuting it into purpose and passion. So, when you have those moments of enlightenment, you realize, damn, all that negative shit that I went through was molding me into the person
I am today. Yeah.
And it's not necessarily that the negative things are the blessings, but the lessons that I learned from them are the blessings. But a lot of
Never
us
take losses, always lessons. Every loss is a lesson.
Exactly. But a lot of us, we identify too much with the losses and the failures to the point where we're actually manifesting more hardship in our life because we actually get a pride in the hardship. We believe life is supposed to be hard. So we end up manifesting more hardship because we get this pride of like, I struggled and I grinded through this stuff. Now I'm trying to get a pride in ease and flow.
Yeah.
If it's easy and it's flowing, that
I'm
means
good.
I'm fully in alignment.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Life isn't supposed to be some grind. You know, look at the birds. They ain't grinding and trying. It's so hard to fly. They're flying. This is easy. Effortless ease. The grass is not like, I gotta grow. Come on, I'm grinding to grow. It's just growing it, right? When you spend that time in nature, you realize, wow, this is just effortlessly easy. And I'm a part of nature. Why isn't it effortlessly easy for me too?
I've been thinking about that. One book I read. I'm not a big reader either. I'm not going to lie to you.
We got to shift that identity too, brother. We got to say I am a reader.
I have a hard time just sitting still and just reading sometimes. But one book that stuck with me, I think it's called. I can look at my phone. Give me 1 second, because I got.
Yeah, we gotta shift that identity, bro. Readers are leaders, man. 10 pages a day, bro.
And I can do it. It's just
2019. Someone told me read 10 pages a day, and now I've read over 100 books and been transformed my life.
This one. You are
You a badass?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're a Badass by Jen
man.
Sincero. What is it? Jen Sincero?
Jen Sincero.
Jen Sincero. Yeah, there we go.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
I remember that brings me back to 2019. I was listening to the audiobook in my car. Yep, that's a good one. That's a real good one.
I honestly forgot what I was about to say. I do this a lot. I'm not going to my brain just be going 100 miles per hour, and I just sometimes forget.
His brain be twerking.
Yeah. And I sometimes
That's my phrase, man.
I was point of what I was about to say.
It's a funny phrase, but it's so
Why
true.
you got me in my head imagining a brain with a fat ass. You got me with this weird ass visualization.
Yo, you don't know what I thought about earlier? When I was driving out here, I sat there and thought, like, my brain be twerking. Because I looked at the shirt, I was like, my brain be twerking. It's basically just saying my wheels are turning.
Yeah. That's literally what it is.
Yeah.
And that's what
my wheels are turning.
It's a way cooler way.
It's just a way cooler. So, you know, at work today, I was explaining to them, like, that's what that means. And they was like, oh, yes. It's just a funny way of saying it. That's really it. You know, it's more entertaining. Yeah, it makes you want to buy the shirt, basically. Exactly. But at the end of the day, that's really what people go through every single day. Every single day is just a funny way to say it. Mm-hmm. So, you know.
I like it. Yeah.
What were we just saying, though? I want to really get that point across. Yeah, before that, I had a reason to go into that, and I forgot completely what it was. There's a lot of great points in that book. That's how I got to the point where I'm like, because she talks a lot about the higher power. She don't say she's a Christian and all this.
Yep.
I know she said her parents were Jewish, but she talks about just a higher power and just believing in that higher power, believing in something in the universe that's going to guide me to the promised land, to where I want to be in my life within myself. Mm-hmm. And that's why that's one of the books I've read through fully. Didn't skip a page, didn't skip a word. I've read through it fully. I didn't skim. And that's the second book I read thoroughly. The first one was the Gucci Man first autobiography, because Gucci Man one of my favorite rappers, and that's another book that stuck on me a lot that I think I need to reread soon. Yeah, but I completely forgot why I even brought that up.
Well, I think I remember you mentioning self-doubt.
Yeah.
And that brought up for me, I was saying...
Because also she talks about self-doubt in that book and how you can just change your mindset and really help.
I think life itself is about a mindset change, though. Like you said.
I was talking about turning pain into passion and purpose.
Yeah.
And recognizing that the deepest pain we go through is
really
for us to evolve and expand, and that's like what we came here to do, is expand and evolve our soul. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think the recognition that I am the vessel that God is using to experience life. And if I'm not giving myself permission to experience the most abundant life that I possibly can, I'm denying God of the experience it came to have through me, right? So who am I to deny God of the experience he came to have through me? You know what I'm saying? So that's what inspires me to put myself out there and just, go after my biggest goals and dreams, because I'm like, I'm not going to get to, I like how Denzel Washington put it. He's like, don't get to the end of your life and be haunted by the ghosts of your untapped potential and unused skills and talents.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, yeah, I'm not gonna be on my when I'm on my deathbed looking back. I'm gonna be like, I gave it all.
Yeah.
I
At that
gave
point, you could
everything
just
I
rest.
could. I did everything I could with all the blessings I was given, and I didn't hold anything back
Yep.
to fear.
Yep.
You know, and I'm like, if 100,000, if 1,000,000 people, if 100,000,000 people need to look at me negatively so I can help one person in a profound way, it's worth it.
It's working.
You
Yep.
know what I'm saying? So that's what keeps me going. Is that that's what breaks through any imposter syndrome or self doubt? Because I'm like, I'm making it about me at that point. You know,
Yeah.
what are people gonna think about me? How am I gonna be judged? And I'm being selfish. And
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
I'm like, no, this ain't about me. Who can I help? Who can I bless? You know,
Yeah.
that's what keeps me going.
Man. This was dope, bro.
Hell yeah.
You know.
I might gotta have a part 2 to this.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you. One thing I always do, like I always know, I give people their flowers, man.
Definitely.
And I gave it to you when we have our
You
normal
stay giving it to me,
conversation.
man. I'm
Yeah.
here and I receive it. I ain't
Yeah,
gonna stop
man.
you. I ain't gonna stop you.
You know, just giving you your flowers for one, coming on, sharing your story, sharing who you are, sharing what you do, and you know, joining us. So appreciate it, and then just giving you flowers for everything you do, man. Sharing wisdom in the bro.
Yeah,
You know, like you said, your energy is amazing, bro. I remember when we first met, it was great energy from the jump. So, you know, I'm always give you those flowers, man. So I just appreciate you, brother, as a human, as a person, as a brother, and everything, man, and what you do.
All that, man. Appreciate it.
Absolutely,
Appreciate
absolutely.
it. I'll throw it right back at you. Thank you for our connection, because you're just, like I've told you in the past, you're one of those brothers where I'm like, you know, there's a lot of people I have to be wary, and I have to actually, if I want to be my best self, I have to distance myself.
Yeah.
You know, some friends, some family, I have to be very, I have to protect my energy. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? You ain't one of them. You're one of them where I'm like, I gotta get around that dude. I gotta spend time with that dude. We gonna elevate each other.
Yeah.
He inspires me. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? And I felt that from when we first met. That's why I had to keep
Connected, yeah.
connected. You know
Absolutely.
what I'm saying?
I've been
And the
telling
fact,
Dale that shit for years.
yeah,
For so long.
Yeah.
I'm telling Dale that shit. That's why me and him are still in this. We're on this couch right now because of that his energy. I ain't gonna say I have bad energy, but like Dale brings the best out of me whenever I'm around him, no matter
Yeah.
where we at. But
and the fact that, let me give you a flowers now, because the fact that you can stay around this type of person, like, there's so many men, like if they get around somebody like you, there's an intimidation factor, and there's actually like, oh, this dude, he's actually gonna hold me accountable to be a better version of myself.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm out of here. You know, what I'm saying? They will not stick around. So like that means a lot. The fact that you stay connected and you're doing this with him,
Got
like
to.
that just
Got
shows
to.
the type of man you are. You know what I'm saying? And just your transparency and honesty.
yeah,
like,
I try to be. Yeah,
I feel that, bro. I feel your heart. And
I'm not gonna lie. I really feel like Dale's probably the first friend that's not like a blood relative that I cried around. That I cried to about stuff that's going on in my personal life. That like real tears running down my face, stuttering, like really painful shit.
Yep.
90% of the time I'm sharing it with Dale.
Yeah.
90% of my life I'm sharing it with Dale.
Yeah, that's such a fucking blessing, man.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah, bro.
beautiful, dude. Thank you guys for having me and letting me be here, and give me the opportunity to share this stuff.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Because again, if one person gets one nugget out of this,
Hey, it helps everyone.
game for them,
Yeah.
and who knows what that ripple effect is, you know? And
Absolutely.
that really gets me going. So I appreciate y'all. for
Absolutely.
I appreciate you, man.
Absolutely, man.
For sure.
And then I got a little twist segment to it. Just a little something
You can
different.
go over this with me. I don't know. I don't know what's about to happen right now.
Just a little twist segment, because since we on that life coaching and everything, just two questions, man. What is failure, and what does failure mean to you?
The first thing that comes up as failure is the stepping stones to success.
Ooh,
Maybe even the stairs.
okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like, people think that failure and success are opposites. And they don't realize that failure is actually the road to success. Like, a lot of people ask me questions trying to, like a lot of questions that I get asked is I can feel the energy that they're trying to avoid failure. And I'm like, you're asking me these questions because you're trying to tiptoe around failure. What I'm saying is these questions are all going to be answered in motion. And the best way you're going to learn the lessons that will allow you to hold the success that you say you want is by failing. You know what I'm saying? Like, in order to start my business, I shared my webinar with a bunch of people. I sat down with 100 people over a 6-month period, and I failed 70 times. But I succeeded 30 times.
Right.
30 people became clients. And if I wasn't willing to fail 70 times to get those 30 yeses, to get the 70 no's to get the 30 yeses, then I wouldn't be as successful as I am now.
Yeah.
So it's like so many people want to avoid failure and they work with people to try to like avoid the failure, but you've got to learn those lessons. And you can learn from other people's failures, and that is a form of wisdom, is learning from other people's failures. But then you got to go do your own failures. You have to fail. You have to have that experience. So it's like I always make sure people understand that it's not the opposite of success. It's literally a required part of being successful.
That was a bar.
I can agree to that, bro. I can agree to that because I thought when I got fired from TSA, I thought my life was over. I thought I failed. I didn't have anything further to go. But now I look at myself. I look back at that time. I'm doing even better than I was when I was working at TSA. Like I said, that failure right there was a stepping stone to get to where I'm at today. Like, God didn't want me at TSA. God probably don't want me where I'm at right now, but each day I'm going to go through this and I'm going to try to see something clearer to see where I need to be at in my life to better myself within and on the outside to help better the people around me also.
I always say your limited ego mind is not as creative as God's mind. So what you think, your grandest vision for life is still small compared to God's plan for you. So for me, I'm very serious about helping people get clear about what they want, because so many people just don't know what they want. So it's like, let's get clear about what you want, but only so that we can feel the feelings of like how you would be feeling if you already had that now. Once you get that feeling tone, once you get that energy, drop the vision, because God's got something way better than yours. You're not as smart or as creative as God. So you've got to surrender that and surrender to there are people who have committed their life to surrendering to the flow of the universe. I think about Michael Singer, who wanted to spend his life just meditating in the woods, but then because he surrendered to the flow of the universe and just went with what was happening, he ended up being the CEO of like a multi-million-dollar company, tech company. What his preference was to be in the woods meditating. Right? But he just followed his intuition and let God just bring him to his destination. And that's what I try to say is like, hey, I'm surrendered to your plan. You know, and I know that you got something way greater in store than my limited ass mind can come up with.
Amen to that.
So
Amen to that.
Amen. I know if something's happening outside of my preference, what my mind wants, I know God is just redirecting me in a way that's going to be even greater. You know, I trust that now. It's happened enough times for me to know, like, this
is not supposed to, Cool, man. Hey.
This is a very important episode.
Yeah, man.
And I feel like every few episodes, we might need you back.
I live 12 minutes away. Okay, I will do a weekly segment. I'm so close. It's a great way to spend a Thursday evening. You know,
man.
So you hit me up whenever, man. I'm down for it.
That's definitely
Part 4, part 5. I'm about it.
It could be a realignment of the area, couple episodes. I'm not against that. I'm definitely with that, and it could just be talking about whatever comes to mind, different things.
I'm happy to be
a
staple guest. Returning guest. I'm all about
man. So once again, brother, thank you for tuning in on the couch.
The couch.
It's, you know.
It's a comfy couch, man. It's a good
Hey, yeah, there you go. I try to tell people.
I have slept here plenty.
But yeah, man, thanks for tuning in. Another episode on the couch. There y'all have it, man. It's live another episode with DGF, man. Like I told y'all before, we're gonna keep bringing important, pivotal, different guests on the couch just to share their wisdom, share their knowledge with you guys, to better us and then to better you guys as well. So
Never know who this is going to touch.
you never know. So keep tuning in. Always remember to like, comment, and subscribe.
Like, comment, subscribe.
Like, comment, subscribe.
I'm real serious. Like, comment, subscribe. I'm not gonna say it again.
You never know who it's gonna touch, man. You
Like,
never
comment,
know whose
subscribe.
life you're changing by just doing a little quick share.
Yeah, man, we on the road to 200. We probably gonna be there before this even get out. So whatever that is, the next 100 it is, we're gonna be on the road to that 200, 300, 400. We just gonna keep growing, man.
Keep
and it's
growing.
because of y'all. So keep tapping in, keep sharing it, keep liking, keep subscribing. So thanks for having us. We out, man.
Where Crystal walk,